am happy to deliberate on the topic women and their styles of leadership and decision making. More and more women are rising to the leadership challenge in all the most male dominated industries and assignments. The increasing number of women at the top in different spectrum like agriculture, architecture, politics, health, hospitality, information technology, ITES, media, public relations, logistics, performing arts, engineering, business education, government and public administration, or into entrepreneurship, broken the glass ceiling in reality, has demonstrated to men who have proved their expertise in all possible ways that women can be both managers and mothers, thus showing their male counterpart that women can in fact do it all. Women are shown to have positive effects that improve performance of the particular assignment they are into. According to the head Sadia Zahidi, Women Leaders Program, World Economic Forum in the year 2012 had expressed, women make up half of the human resource available to any country. If that half is not being channeled into the economy and not being made part of decision making processes, then that country's economic potential is bound to suffer by losing 50% of its capacity. As business leaders and policy makers seek to navigate their way through the current economic crisis, they need the aggregate talents of both women and men more than ever to come up with the best solutions. It is evidently presented in the Catalyst magazine that women's participation had significant effects on the corporate performance. There is an increase in return on equity, profit margin, and return on invested capital. McKinsey too expressed that the companies with the highest gender diversity teams has much higher return on equity, a higher operating result, and a stronger stock price growth. In addition, having at least one woman on the board decreases bankruptcy. Interestingly, companies with more women on their boards experience better corporate governance and ethical behavior. I am glad to take you to the presentation which opens up plethora of information on the leadership and decision making styles of women administrators. The interesting part of the presentation is that there is a comprehensive table at the end which portrays the role models, barriers and success mantras of powerful and successful women. I am sure the goal of this lesson is to inspire the learners to adopt appropriate styles of leadership and decision making in whatever future career path you are going to opt. The learning objectives are to understand the status of women administrators, analyze the gender perspective in leading and managing issues, comprehend the leadership style of most of the women administrators, assess the decision making styles, find out the traits of successful women in effective leading and decision making, project how the skills gap may be closed, gain exposure in gender neutrality to bring about gender equality. It has to be specified that leadership style is very important, and we are going to understand what leadership is all about. Leadership is influencing the peers, subordinates and other followers. It is actually an interpsychic function of an individual to lead others. Leadership involves social interaction and building relationship between leader and their follower. There are research evidences that vividly show that women has an unique pattern of communication, directing the individuals, influencing the followers towards unified path and value workplace relationship more than men. No doubt, women have close bonding with the followers and understand the feeling and belief system. There are two dimensions of leadership, task orientation and the other one is interpersonal orientation. Task-oriented managers make their employees understand description of task and goals. On the other hand, interpersonally oriented managers build their leadership on keeping the morale of their subordinates high and showing concern about their welfare at work. According to gender roles, female managers tend to be with an interpersonal orientation, while male managers are more likely to adopt a task-oriented style. The stereotyped traits of women are empathetic, friendly, emotional, sensitive, sentimental, and affectionate. Male traits include rational, dominant, forceful, aggressive, and stable. Now let us look at the gender-based leadership tendencies. So that is the table which specifies the leadership tendencies of women and men. Women leaders focus on task. Their style is transformational. They prefer lean and flat structure. They try to promote collaboration and cooperation, and they adopt indirect communication, and they always try to mentor and train their followers. To look at deep into the women leadership tendencies, female leaders are extremely focused on completing a task assigned. As transformational leader, women empower and mentor the followers in leading a value-oriented work and personal life. As women leaders believe in team-based functioning, they prefer flat structure. Team building is characterized by collaboration and cooperation. As such, all the members of the organizations consulted to arrive at a consensus. Women provide latitude in accomplishing a task which specifies that allowing the subordinates to use their knowledge and experience. Continuous upgrading of the skills and the knowledge of subordinates through mentorship and training. It is interesting to note in the comparative leadership style of women, it is clearly shown that women follow relationship-based leadership style, integrating with consensual decision making, focus more on process, and encourages active participation in all ways by boosting the self-worth and subordinates the individual interest to organizational interest. Thus, their leadership style has more the features of transformational leadership style. On the other hand, men display aggressive attitude of completing the task within the assigned time, product oriented, combine both positive and negative reinforcement according to the task accomplished, and show more of transactional style of leadership. But still there is a reality which requires our attention, which throws more challenges in the adaptation of a particular style of leadership to solve the situational issues. Does gender matter? I leave it to your thinking as to how gender plays a role in the leadership style. Now let us focus on the research results that confirm similarities with women's styles and requirements for global leadership. Women's leadership style is more of people focused and follow the strategy of role modeling, wherein they themselves become role model for many. They insist on clear outcome of the assignments given and rewards for achievements according to McKinsey's results. Women adopt more democratic as well as participative styles. Women are more collaborative and more towards enhancing self-worth of others. Women are rated more proficient in taking initiative, practicing self-development, integrity and honesty and zeal for results. Women inspire others at high rate, vision for the future and show optimism in achieving the horizon. Women adopt participative decision-making style, creating an ecosystem where everyone participates in the decision making. They are rated highly effective in addressing global challenges with their qualities of risk-taking and creativity. Women are effective in communication, they try to convince and they are charismatic. Now let's see the results of Caliper study conducted in 2005, wherein we get an idea that women has high level of persuading capacity, display I will show you attitude, inclusive and team-based style in problem solving and decision making, as well as when needed they cross the rules to achieve. This can be considered as an all-time interpretation of women leadership style. Now let's focus on decision making. The function of decision making involves deciding a better solution from among various available alternatives. The process of decision making is one of the most complex, multifaceted mechanisms of human thinking, as various factors and causes of action permeate in it with different results. Without the active participation of women and the incorporation of the perspective of women at all levels of decision making, it is impossible to achieve the targets. Men hurries towards the final finish, but women start with data collection and then for plan of action. Women tend to lead in a more participative way, while their male counterparts are more directive and autocratic. To the extent that women managers prefer to decide in a more participative way, they will also allow democratic practices with respect to workplace level decision making. With the increasing number of women in decision making positions in different arena nowadays, it is useful to know how they differ to men in leadership and communication styles, which we have already seen. Comprehensively, women has the following characteristics as an effective decision maker. They try to consider multiple stakeholders to attract diverse views, apply cooperation, collaboration and consensus building, more inquisitive and to generate more possible solutions, listen others patiently, effective application of intuition, share the risk of decision making, and there are certain amazing facts given on why should boards have more female directors. Boards with high female representation experience a 53% higher return on equity, a 66% higher return on invested capital. Having just one female director on the board cuts the risk of bankruptcy by 20%. When women directors are appointed, boards adopt new governance practices related to director training, board evaluations, structural decisions. Women are effective in making other board members more civilized and sensitive to other perspectives. Female directors are more likely to ask questions rather than nodding through decisions. Now let's see the concrete decision making style of women. Women's decision making style is collective as well as consensus based. They take control of decisions sometimes and build consensus that time very boldly gives up total control of the decision. A more accurate decision is usually made with a higher probability of success with total team commitment. It is also to be noted that the unique qualities of talents, insights and efforts of an individual female play a role in taking an effective decision. There are statistics given on gender differences in managing, Global Gender Gap Report of World Economic Forum, European Union Survey. Women have made inroads into managerial positions and professional fields in recent decades. Only about 1 in 5 say women's family responsibilities are a major reason there are not more females in top leadership positions in business and politics. Women have a clear advantage over men on honesty and ethics, providing fair pay and benefits and offering mentorship to young employees. European Union survey says that women are underrepresented in decision making positions, particularly in politics and business, even if the situation varies between European Union countries. In May 2016, women accounted for 29% of members of the single or lower houses of parliaments in the European Union countries. In business leadership, the situation is disappointing. In April 2016, women accounted for just 23.3% of board members of the largest publicly listed companies registered in the European Union countries. India ranks 87 in global index ranking in gender gap. The reasons are quite complex and needs a comprehensive plan of action to reduce the gap. The major reasons are being gender roles and stereotypes. We have to focus on the successful leadership traits which are given as self-motivation, natural curiosity, courage, self-management, enjoying being stretched and rising to a challenge, personal will and fortitude, power of intuition, relationship building, drive and flexibility may be innate, but there is no doubt that these characteristics also need to be nurtured and improvised. There is a study which suggests 4 core components of success, namely be able, that is develop required skills and knowledge, be seen as able, display the talents and prove that you are an indispensable strength, know what you want, show conviction, perseverance, stand for your goal, help others. Finally, you try to mentor and train other young employees. The other qualities may be strategic influence, meaning mastering the art of influence and persuasion are essential skills for anyone pursuing a leadership path. The next one is gender intelligence. We need to better understand the gender differences so that we can find the most productive ways to work together and leverage the strengths of both men and women. We have the social capital, which involves leveraging a blend of emotional intelligence, interpersonal impact, and diplomacy skills to develop trust and lasting relationship. Let us now see the competencies required for better decision making. We need to have emotional intelligence, which consists of self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. The next one is managing uncertainty and make choices. Often decisions are taken during uncertainties, variables to be considered and their outcomes are uncertain. We need to take risks and apply strategies to win the challenges. The final one is intuition. If the leader has more knowledge, expertise, and experience, intuition will be strong enough to back up a problem with great solution. Let's see how the skill gap may be closed and the different ways possible. In late 2011, consultants Jack Zenzer and Joseph analyzed the 360-degree leadership effectiveness of more than 7,280 executives, which had been filled out by their peers, bosses, and subordinates. The analysis revealed that every management level, the women were rated higher than the men. 12 out of 16 traits for leadership effectiveness they have scored high. The traits showing superior rating for women are develop strategic perspective, technical and professional experience, innovation, connect to outside world, prolific communication, analytical problem solving skills, powerful change agent, establish stretch goals, teamwork and collaboration, inspire others, develop, drive for results, high integrity. It is to be understood that great leaders are great decision makers. When the skills specified are given importance, the skill gap can be easily closed and women can emerge as better leaders. Let's see a package of qualities of successful women leaders, which focuses on adaptability, which means demonstrating flexibility in the face of change, organization, which includes time management, space management, and task management, being proactive, developing the ability to foresee problems and prevent them by taking action, apply analytical skills and a broad understanding of the pertinent issues to effectively interpret and anticipate needs, communication skills comprising of listening, oral, written, telephone, email, better client service, interacting professionally with clients and associate at all times, promptly respond to requests with accuracy and a courteous manner. Being a team player, work as a competent member of the team, willingly providing backup support for the co-workers when appropriate and actively supporting group goals. Acquisition of technical skills. Display proficiency using the technical and the professional skills required. Demonstrates advanced proficiency in new technology and easily acquiring new technical skills. The judgmental capability. Exhibiting sound judgment and the ability to make reasonable decisions in the absence of direction, swiftly referring to the problems and issues to appropriate person when needed, working effectively without constant and direct supervision or guidance. Then finally, it is the conceptual skills, looking at the comprehensive big picture of the issue, that is the 360-degree analysis. Let's now focus on gender neutrality. There is evidence that proves that gender is not a barrier in leading a team or in generating better decisions. Men or women, it is their innate potentials, capabilities, skills, knowledge, and belief system that dominate their leadership style and the decision-making capacity. However, current research has found a change in trend and women have become more prevalent in the workforce over the past 2 decades, especially in management and leadership positions. The gender gap is decreasing and these stereotypes are changing as more women enter leadership roles. Anderson and Hansen in the year 2011 conducted a research which specifies that there were significant differences in leadership behavior as claimed by previous studies and authors. It was found that public managers on leadership styles, decision-making styles, and motivation profiles found that the only difference were in decision-making styles, but none were great enough to be considered significant. But still, we cannot deny the fact that there are significant number of researchers cry that women hitting the glass ceiling. Gender equality is thus fundamental to whether and how societies thrive. The 3 actions suggested supporting women's access to leadership positions are: educate women and men about second generation gender bias, create safe identity workspaces to support transitions to bigger roles, anchor women's development efforts in a sense of leadership purpose rather than how women are perceived. These actions will give women insight into themselves and their organizations, enabling them to more effectively chart a roadmap to leadership. Mainstreaming was clearly established as the global strategy for promoting gender equality through the Platform for Action at the United States 4th World Conference on Women in Beijing in 1995. Mainstreaming entails bringing the perception, experience, knowledge, and interest of women as well as men to bear on policy making, planning, and decision making. There are certain steps women need to adapt to the gender difference if at all needed, adopt a positive attitude towards differences, acknowledge the difference, assess the difference, renew positive attitude towards difference, choose techniques for action or response, generalize from the specific. The European Union's Strategic Action Plan for Gender Equality is projected, which specifies 5 key areas for action to bring about equality between women and men. They are equal economic independence for women and men, equal pay for work of equal value, equality in decision making, dignity, integrity, and ending gender-based violence, promoting gender equality. There is an interesting look deep section which depicts the role models, barriers, and success mantra of some of the powerful women in India. The table projects the role model of most of the successful powerful women in India has got their mothers to be the role models, and the success mantra includes good governance, powerful decision making, strong communication, positive mindset, work-life balance, compassion, sensitivity, inner strength of honest, untiring commitment, conviction, determination to pursue the passion, be paranoid to survive, hard work, high self-esteem, belief in the magic of believing. And the top barriers listed are corporate culture, organizational barriers, gender discrimination, gender bias, lack of resources to support system for women. So these are all certain barriers, success mantra of the powerful women in India. To conclude, India ranks 3rd lowest in the proportion of business leadership roles held by women at 15%, falling much below the global average, which is a major concern as an economy. If you are only using half its most talented people, it immediately reduces the growth potential. Great efforts are needed to close this gender equality gap. Thus, creating an environment where women can succeed is vital. Public policy that encourages women to be successful, workplaces that reward those encouraging and advancing women, an education system that educate women to the highest standards are just some of the things that are needed to help create a viable system in which women can be prepared and encouraged to rise to the leadership.